Hi, welcome to Fayetteville Public Library's Preschool Story Time at Home. I'm Miss Alyson, and I'm so glad you joined me today because I have a special book about monarch butterflies. It's a story about a little girl named Velma Gratch, and an encounter that she has with a monarch butterfly changes the way that she feels about herself. It's a really neat story. I chose it because school has begun, and also the migration of monarchs southward has begun. And I encourage you to look around outside and see if you can spot these black and orange beauties as they make their way through our area. It's a pretty neat thing, and the book that I'm going to read has some facts about their migration, as well as just a neat story about Velma herself. Shall we get started? Okay. All right. Make sure you can see the book. Velma Gratch and the Way Cool Butterfly. Velma Gratch was the youngest of the three Gratch sisters. Frida, the oldest, had gone through first grade first, followed by Fiona. Now it was Velma's turn. The chorus teacher remembered Frida best because she had a voice like an angel. The gym teacher remembered Fiona best because she ran like the devil. And the first grade teacher, Mr. Plexipus, fondly remembered both sisters because of Frida's miraculous math and Fiona's spectacular spelling. Everyone, from the class guinea pig to the principal, had magnificent memories of the older Gratch girls, but they could hardly even recall Velma's name. This made Velma feel as if she didn't belong in the first grade at all. She wanted to curl into a ball and roll right back into kindergarten. "Of course you belong," cooed Velma's mother, trying to cheer her up. "You've only just begun. Soon everybody will notice you." But Velma couldn't wait. She needed to be noticed now. In chorus, she sang loudest so the teacher could hear her best. In gym, she ran slowest so the teacher could see her best. And in class, she refused to read and muddled her math. Mr. Plexipus lamented that she was the first Gratch sister ever sent to the principal's office. This brought a small smile to Velma's lips. Now, do you think that going to the principal's office would be a reason to have a smile on your face? What is she up to? "Littlest Gratch, why are you singing so loudly in chorus and running so slowly in gym?" inquired Principal crossly. "Because," answered Velma, "I want you to remember me just like you remember Frida and Fiona." The principal's owlish eyes opened wide. "But my dear, those Gratches are remembered for good things." Velma's small smile pretzel twisted into a full-blown frown. She didn't quite have the right idea, did she? Science was Velma's favorite subject. She had learned many fabulous facts, like how a rainbow is born and why a volcano burps. The latest lesson was about butterflies. Mr. Plexipus explained that a butterfly starts as an egg. The egg turns into a caterpillar. The caterpillar disappears into a chrysalis, which is a little sac, and doesn't come out until it has changed into a beautiful butterfly. He called this changing metamorphosis. Velma didn't want to forget this extra long word, so she repeated it again and again as she walked home. Metamorphosis, metamorphosis, metamorphosis. That's a big word, isn't it? Can you say it? Metamorphosis. "Frida, when you were in first grade, did you study butterflies?" Velma asked her oldest sister. "No, we learned worms," Frida replied. "Fiona, when you were in first grade, did you study butterflies?" Velma asked her middle sister. "No, we found out about frogs," Fiona stated. "Well," said Velma proudly, "we are studying butterflies and metal more for this." Did she pronounce metamorphosis correctly? Not quite. "That's way cool," Frida declared, and Fiona bobbled her head in way cool agreement. Metal more for this. Velma read everything in the library about butterflies. She discovered that there are 20,000 different kinds. How about that? That's a lot. She adored the ones with colorful names like brown elfin, frosted flasher, and sleepy orange, and the ones with funny names like comma, question mark, and American snout. Not to mention the ones with strange names like Morpho, Painted Lady, and Gossamer Wing. But her favorite butterfly of all was the orange and black monarch. When it got cold, all the monarchs would fly south to Mexico to stay warm. Velma thought this was an amazing coincidence because last winter vacation, she and her family had also flown south to Mexico to stay warm. Look at all of her books. She is learning everything she can about butterflies. In science, Mr. Plexipus announced that they would take a class trip to the Butterfly Conservatory, a place where real butterflies were collected and cared for. Because Velma didn't want to forget this extra long word, she repeated it again and again as she walked home. Conservatory, conservatory, conservatory. Can you say it? Conservatory. Very good. Frida, did you take a class trip in first grade? Velma asked her oldest sister. Absolutely. We went to the museum, Frida replied. Fiona, did you take a class trip in first grade? Velma asked her middle sister. Absolutely. We went to the aquarium, Fiona stated. Well, said Velma proudly, we're going to the can serve the story. Did she get that word right? Not exactly. That's way cool, Frida declared, and Fiona bobbled her head in way cool agreement. The Butterfly Conservatory was surrounded by fancy flower beds and bedecked with banners of butterflies. Velma was so excited her knobby knees wobbled, her spaghetti arms trembled, and her carroty curls shook. A sharp-nosed woman holding a clipboard introduced herself. I'm your tour guide. Now inside, a butterfly might land on you, but please don't touch its wings. Does anyone know why? Velma's hand shot up. Because they're made of teeny tiny scales that could rub off like dust, and that is not good, she explained. Precisely, said the guide. What's your name? I'm Velma, the youngest of the 3 Gratch sisters. I don't think I know your sisters, the guide commented as they enter the rain-forested room. Do you think that might be something that makes Velma happy? That she's getting to be known for something on her own? Yeah, I think so. Isn't it pretty? Looks like a pretty place. Oh, look there. How about that? It was a magical space, slathered in tall trees and tangled vines. Water gurgled over rocks and butterflies of every variety. Giant swallowtails, short-tailed skippers, pygmy blues, and best of all, monarchs flew up to forever. The guide explained that when it got colder in a couple of weeks, she would take the monarchs into the park and let them go free so they could fly to Mexico. This traveling was called migration. Because Velma didn't want to forget this extra long word, she repeated it again and again as she walked through the rainforest. Migration, migration, migration. How about that word? Can you say it? Migration. A gorgeous green comma rested on Randy's head and the class oohed. A baby brown elfin settled on Sandy's nose and the class awed. A big blue morpho alighted on Andy's shoulder and the class gasped, but not one single butterfly landed on any part of Velma. Time to leave, instructed Mr. Plexipus as they neared the exit. A tear formed in a distant corner of Velma's eye. All she wanted was one single tingly touch of a butterfly. On a nearby branch sat a most lovely monarch. Oh, and how she yearned to pet those velvety wings. She moved slowly. The class was leaving. Oh, one more inch. It was so pretty. She froze, though, because if she touched its wings, it might... Velma couldn't do it. She couldn't hurt a butterfly. Come now, Velma. We have to go. Sadly, Velma turned away. But at that very moment, the most marvelous thing happened. Any guesses? Let's see. I love this page. The monarch hopped from its branch and roosted right on Velma's finger. Delicate wings slowly folding, antenna twitching, weightless and wondrous the insect sat. Velma was in heaven. The bus is waiting, her teacher called. Velma placed her finger next to the branch. Bye-bye, butterfly, she whispered. But the monarch didn't move. We're closing, said the guide. Velma lightly blew on the butterfly, but it didn't budge. Without ever touching the butterfly's wings, everyone tried to get the monarch to fly, crawl, or walk off of Velma's finger. But nothing worked. At last, Velma was told to leave with the butterfly still perched on her pointer. You see it still on her finger? And it stayed there for the bus ride home. How fun is that? It stayed there while she slept and was still there when she woke. It stayed during gym, math, reading. You see how it's got its own little pillow? And there it is above the kids running in gym. It stayed during ballet and soccer. Day in and day out, it stayed put on that pointer. Soon everyone from the class guinea pig to the principal knew about Velma and her butterfly. Mr. Plexippus lamented that Velma was positively the first Gratch ever sent to the principal's office twice. This stuck an oversized frown on Velma's face. Velma, Principal crossly commanded, it is time for that butterfly to go. Oh, I've tried to get it to go, Velma moaned, but it just won't. Well, no one's ever going to forget this, the principal fumed. Velma's frown pretzel twisted into a small smile. Hey, I know what to do, she proclaimed. My grayson. Is that how you pronounce the word? Do you remember how to say it correctly? Migration. Velma paraded Principal Crossley, Mr. Plexippus, her class, Frida, and Fiona to the park. Car horns honked, people yelled, but despite all the commotion, the monarch did not move. A cool wind from the west blew through the field. In the middle stood the tour guide from the conservatory, carefully opening an enormous sack. A single monarch butterfly stepped out, looked around, and flitted away. It was trailed by 10, then 10 more, soaring up and up until the sky overflowed with thick clouds of orange and black. What's happening? Wondered Frida. Why are you letting them go? Demanded Fiona. Migration, answered the guide. Migration, said Velma. The wind tousled Velma's hair and tickled her butterfly's wings. The monarch jumped onto her nose as if to give her a kiss, and then took flight just like its friends. Over the treetops it flew, over the skyscrapers, and up into the wild blue, orange, and black yonder on the way to Mexico. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Velma, shouted Principal crossly, and every eye turned towards her. Oh no, fretted Velma, sure she was about to become the only Gratch ever sent to the principal's office 3 times. That was way cool, the principal said, and one and all bobbled their heads in way cool agreement. Then, with her fine finger where the monarch had sat still a tingle, Velma, followed by her 2 sisters, floated home. The end. Isn't that a neat story? It's so great because you learn a little bit about monarchs and their migration and how not to touch the butterfly wings because it's very important that the little scales don't get messed up. So always just look, if you can, take a picture of a butterfly and look from a distance. Don't ever touch them with your fingers. Okay, to go along with this wonderful story, I've got a little craft for you. You're going to make your own monarch butterfly. Isn't that pretty? All you're going to need is a cardboard tube. A little toilet paper tube should be just about the right size. You're going to need some black construction paper and some orange construction paper. You'll need a glue stick and scissors. If you've got them at home, you'll need some googly eyes, but you can certainly paint them on if you like, or you can use buttons. I had a pipe cleaner, a black pipe cleaner to use for the antenna. You can certainly cut them out of construction paper. That'll work too. You just need to make the little curve shaped. Okay, so all you do is paint the cardboard tube black, and then to make sure that the butterfly wings are symmetrical, I would just, this one here, let me get a piece of black paper that's not been cut into. Just fold your construction paper in half, and this part right here, where you've got that seam, that's going to be the middle part of your wings. And this way, if you cut them at the same time, they're still joined and they'll be the same shape. I'm just going to do a quick job here so you can see what they look like unfolded. There you go. See, you unfold them and you can trim them up a little bit. I think I might make the lower wings a little smaller. There we go. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you can, actually however you like, I used kind of teardrop shapes for the orange part. You can make circles, you can make triangles, you can do whatever shape you want for the orange pieces. And you're just going to cut those out, and then you'll glue them onto your wings. Do all of that first, all right? And then once you've had your tube painted and your wings have the orange parts to it, you're just simply going to glue the wings onto the tube, and then you can glue the googly eyes or buttons or draw on the eyes, and then you're going to want to tuck your antenna down inside the tube, and you'll have your very own monarch butterfly. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Okay, do me a favor and be sure to look out for those monarch butterflies as they pass through. They're beautiful to watch. Take some photographs if you get a chance and post them underneath this video. Also, show me what your butterfly looks like that you made out of the cardboard and construction paper. I'd love to see it. I hope you enjoyed this story time about monarchs. It's that time of the year. Get outside and take a look for them. I'll see you again soon. Bye.